Let's take a look at strategic planning dimensions. Having a plan makes it far more likely you'll actually achieve your objective. At upper level and some middle level managers, they spend more time developing strategic, broad, or directional, long range, single use plans for the organization. Other middle level and lower level managers, in contrast, spend more time specifying how strategic plans will be accomplished by developing operational short range plans and implementing standing plans. Careful planning is a key to success in decision making and strategic planning in any organization. There are two types of plans. Strategic planning is the process of developing a mission and long range objective and determining in advance how they'll be accomplished. Operational planning is the process of setting short range objectives and determining in advance how they'll be accomplished. Differences between strategic planning and operational planning are primarily the time frame and management level involved. Long term generally means it will take longer than a year to achieve an objective. Strategic plans are commonly developed for 5 years and reviewed and revised every year so that a 5 year plan is always in place. A strategy is a plan for pursuing a mission and achieving objectives. Strategic thinking is important, and it was ranked fifth as a skill that employers value. Strategic and operational types of plans include three planning levels: corporate, business, and functional. Each of these levels of planning requires strategy, which should be started simply. A corporate strategy is a strategic plan for managing multiple lines of business. A functional strategy is the operational plan for managing one area of a business. You need to plan carefully before making a strategic move, and the following are the 5 steps that can help. Here's the model: from developing the mission to analyzing the environment, setting objectives, developing strategies, and implementing them. As the lines indicate, you may need to return to prior steps to make changes as part of an ongoing process. Strategic planning may sound unnecessary, but without it, you will miss opportunities. Mission is a business's purpose or reason for being, and we'll be brief here. Developing the mission is the first step in the strategic planning process. However, after analyzing the environment, managers should re-examine the mission and values to see if they need to be changed as the environment changes. A mission is often based on or also creates a vision that defines where the company is headed in inventing its future and why. It contains the expectations the organization strives to achieve. Top management needs to articulate a compelling vision so clear that it can be seen in every employee's head. The second step of the strategic planning process is analyzing the environment. This is also known as situation analysis. A situational analysis focuses on those features in a company's environment that most directly affect its options and opportunities. This analysis has 3 parts: industry and competitive situation analysis, company situational analysis, and identification of a competitive advantage. Industries vary widely in their makeup, competitive situation, and growth potential. Determining the position of an industry requires answering questions such as how large is the market? According to Michael Porter, competition in an industry is a composite of 5 competitive forces that should be considered in analyzing the competitive situation. A company situational analysis is used at the business level to determine the strategic issues and problems that need to be addressed through the next 3 steps of strategic planning. A complete company situational analysis has 5 key parts. Assessment of the present strategy based on performance. An organization's internal environment, strengths and weaknesses, and external environment, opportunities and threats are determined through a SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's critical in terms of a SWOT analysis that the internal factors are analyzed for strengths and weaknesses, and management and culture, mission, resources, systems, processes, and structure. The external environment factors analyzed for opportunities and threats are customers, competitors, suppliers, and so on. assessment of the competitive strength and identification of competitive advantage, conclusions concerning competitive position, determination of the issues and problems that need to be addressed through the strategic planning process. What needs to be done in the future to provide the business a competitive position? A competitive advantage specifies how an organization offers unique customer value. A company has to have answers to questions around competitive advantage to succeed in business, and it has to sustain the advantage against competitors. Two aspects of a company's competitive advantage are core competency and benchmarking. A core competency is what the firm does well. Benchmarking is the process of comparing an organization's products or services and processes with those of other companies. In benchmarking, you try to find out about other products and processes and copy them or improve them. After managers have evaluated the organization and competition by completing a situation analysis, they should go back and review the mission and its vision to see if they need to be changed. It tells us what's going on in the external environment that may require change to improve value. Successful people are goal-oriented and may have daily goals. What are your objectives? In a survey of CEOs, the second biggest challenge facing leaders today is staying focused, and setting objectives will help. To help ensure that you meet your objectives, it's a good idea to write them down. An effective objective expresses a specific result, and it sets a date for achieving that result. It should have a single result, or don't put multiple objectives together. Another similar way of writing objectives is called SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. The top or first three are must criteria, as they are required for writing effective objectives, whereas the bottom or last three are want criteria, because they can't be known if they're met by reading the objective. A number of studies show that individuals perform better when given difficult but achievable, realistic objectives rather than objectives that are too difficult, where they don't try, or too easy, where they do the minimum. So set bold objectives, but be aware that too difficult an objective can lead to unethical behavior to achieve and attain it for the reward of doing so. Groups that participate in setting their objectives generally outperform groups with assigned objectives. Participation helps members feel that they have shared in their destiny. If objectives are to be met, you need to get buy-in. If employees don't commit to an objective, then even if it meets all of the other must and want criteria, it might not be accomplished. Get people thinking and believing, I can do that, to motivate them to achieve an objective. MBO is the process in which managers and their employees jointly set objectives. MBO has 3 steps. Step 1. Set individual objectives and plans. You set objectives with each individual employee. The objectives are at the heart of the MBO process and should meet the must and want criteria. Step 2. Give feedback and evaluate performance. Communication is the key factor in determining MBO's success or failure. Thus, you and your employees must meet frequently to review progress. Step 3. Reward according to performance. Employees' performance should be measured against their objective. Employees who meet their objectives should be rewarded through recognition, and so on. A grand strategy is an overall corporate strategy for growth, stability, and turnaround. Each grand strategy aligns with different objectives. Let's discuss each. With a growth strategy, the company makes aggressive attempts to increase its size through increased sales. With a stability strategy, the company attempts to hold and maintain its present size or to grow slowly. A turnaround strategy is an attempt to reverse a declining business as quickly as possible. A retrenchment strategy is the divestiture or liquidation of assets. Turnaround strategies generally attempt to improve cash flow by increasing revenue, decreasing costs, reducing assets, or combining these strategies to align the firm with its external environment. A spin-off is a form of retrenchment in which a corporation sets up one or more of its business units as a separate company rather than selling it. Corporations may pursue different strategies for different lines of business or area of operation. Most large MNCs have growth strategies, and that is a major reason why they're global MNCs. A company that wants to grow has three major options. These growth strategies are concentration, integration, and diversification. With a concentration strategy, the organization grows aggressively in its existing line of business. With an integration strategy, the organization enters a new line or lines of businesses related to existing ones on a continuum as follows. Forward integration occurs when the organization enters a line of business closer to the final customer. Backward integration occurs when the organization enters a line of business farther away from the final customer. Diversification. With this strategy, the organization goes into a related or unrelated line of products. Companies can also pursue a common MNC growth strategy by means of mergers and acquisitions. A merger occurs when two companies form one corporation. The new company name is often a combination of the merged business. An acquisition occurs when one business buys all or part of another. One business becomes part of an existing business. The terms merger and acquisition are commonly used interchangeably. However, with a true merger, owners of stock in each company get shares of the new firm. Business portfolio analysis is the process of determining which line of business to be in. A business line, also called a strategic business unit, is a distinct business having its own customers that is managed independently of other businesses within the corporation. A primary objective of corporate portfolio management is to make strategic decisions about the allocation of resources among SBUs. A popular approach to CPM is to create a Boston Consulting Group or BGC growth share matrix for each line of business or product line as a business strategy. A BCG matrix contains 4 cells. Cash cows generate more resources than they need, so the profits are used to fund question marks and stars. Question marks are entities and entries into new businesses. Stars are question marks that succeed. And dogs are doing poorly and usually sold or liquidated. A company in a single line of business cannot conduct a business portfolio analysis. Adaptive strategies emphasize adapting to changes in the external environment and entering new markets as means of increasing sales. The adaptive strategies are prospecting, defending, and analyzing. The prospecting strategy calls for aggressively offering new products and services or entering new markets in pursuits of opportunity. The defending strategy calls for staying with the present product line and markets and maintaining or increasing customers slowly in new markets. Analyzing strategy calls for a mid-range approach between prospecting and defending. Analyzers also commonly imitate their rivals' prospecting actions through benchmarking. Porter identified 3 effective competitive strategies: differentiation, cost leadership, and focus. With a differentiation strategy, a company stresses its competitive advantage over its competitors, focusing on being sufficiently distinctive. With a cost leadership strategy, the company stresses lower prices to attract customers. With a focus strategy, the company targets a specific regional market, product line, or buyer group. Porter doesn't recommend trying to combine differentiation and cost leadership because it's rarely successful as the company gets stuck in the middle. Managers select the appropriate strategy based on mission, analysis, and objectives. The functional departments of a company must develop internal strategic plans for achieving mission and objectives. Functional strategies are strategies developed and implemented by department managers. By way of example, marketing focuses on the 4 Ps: product, promotion, price, and place. The marketing department makes decisions about which products to provide, how to package them, how to advertise them, and where to sell them. The operations department is responsible for systems and processes that convert inputs into outputs of products and services for customers. The finance department has 2 functions: financing business activities and keeping records of transaction, developing budgets, and reporting financial results. The HR department is responsible for working with all other functional departments in the areas of recruiting, selecting, training, evaluating, and compensating employees. Based on the type of business, any number of other departments also need to develop a strategy. Depending on how repetitive they are, plans may be either standing, which are made to be used over and over again to ensure repeated behavior for handling routine issues, or single-use plans, which are made to be used only once. Most strategic plans are single-use, whereas operational plans are standing. Operational objectives may be accomplished by following standing plans which save planning and decision-making time. Standing plans are policies, procedures, and rules developed for handling repetitive situations. Their purpose is to guide employees' actions in day-to-day decision-making. Policies provide general guidelines to be followed when making decisions. A procedure is a sequence of actions to be followed in order to achieve an objective. Procedures can be formal or informal and are more specific than policies as they establish routine ways of doing things consistently. Rules state exactly what should or should not be done. Single-use plans are programs and budgets developed for handling non-repetitive situations. A program describes a set of objectives and is designed to accomplish an objective over a specified period of time. A budget is the funds allocated to operate a unit for a fixed period. No matter how effectively you plan, there will be times when unexpected events or crises prevent you from achieving your objectives. Contingency plans are alternate plans to be implemented if uncontrollable events occur. If a key employee calls out sick, another employee fills in to do the job. To develop a contingency plan, answer 3 questions. What am I doing wrong? How can I prevent it from happening? And if it does occur, what can I minimize in terms of its effects? When developing contingency plans, ask everyone involved what can go wrong and what should be done if it does go wrong. They may have encountered problems that you haven't thought of. Our time is valuable. Time management refers to techniques that enable us to get more done in less time with better results. The first step in time management is for us to use a time log. There are 4 key components of a time management system. Priorities. These usually aren't enough time to do everything, but there is time to do the most important things. Objectives. Set weekly objectives using an objectives model. Plans. Develop operational plans to meet your objectives. Schedules. Schedule each week and workday and follow it. Time management systems all boil down to developing a plan and striking it as much as possible. Great managers prioritize and plan their time well. Multitasking is the practice or capability of handling more than one task at a time. Although you may not want to believe it, research has shown that the human brain is not actually capable of doing 2 thinking or cognitive tasks at the same time. When people multitask things that require thinking, either at the same time or alternately rapidly between them, errors go way up, and it takes far longer to get jobs done if they were done sequentially. There are important skills for getting high priority tasks completed, yet employers today say that young job applicants have short attention spans and can't concentrate for very long. Limit distractions and interruptions to improve your multitasking management ability. Strategic change is difficult, but failure to change strategies can lead to severe consequences. The 5th and final step of the strategic planning process involves implementing and controlling strategies to ensure the mission and objectives at all levels are achieved. Top and middle managers are more involved with planning, whereas lower-level functional managers and employees implement operational strategies on a day-to-day basis. Although strategic planning usually goes well, implementation is often a problem. One reason is that strategic planning often ends up buried at the bottom of a drawer. No action is taken to implement it. As strategies are being implemented, they must also be controlled. Controlling is the process of monitoring progress and taking corrective action when needed to ensure that objectives are achieved. You need to overcome the barriers that will try to prevent you from achieving your objectives.